This is an open meeting under section 19.81 to 19.98 of the Wisconsin State Statutes. I'd like to look at the minutes from last month. Any changes or edits that need to be done? I noticed one. Just in the attendance, John Klobuchak was not here and Mr. Becker was. So in the meeting minutes, it talked about we welcome Chris to the commission. So I just want to make sure that his attendance was taken properly. Any other additions? All right, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move.
I'll second that.
Second by Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Informational monthly staff reports. Mel, what we
I'll
got?
take.
Oh, Randy, go ahead.
Yep, I'll take that one. Numbers are fairly consistent from 2024. Adult fitness was up 300. Once again, we'll note that chorus was placed in a different category. We did do that on purpose, and that would even out the bonus the new category got and the loss the previous category had. The Lutz indoor use was down, and we've seen our first negative in memberships sold in a number of months.
Any questions for Randy on the staff reports or comments? All right, communications and correspondence. We have none tonight. We have no appearances or public comments as well. Old business, we have none, so we're moving on to new business. Administration, the 26 to 2030 capital improvement project or projects. We have the budgetary summary in our packets. Randy, you taking that one as well?
Yes, I will. As Scott mentioned, included in your packet is a list of capital improvement projects for, actually, it includes this year, 2025, so just an update there through 2030. Keep in mind, this list continues to be fluid. A final list is due to the city administrator on June 16th. There have already been adjustments to the list that you have, and I can go over those. Namely, I pushed back some of the projects in order to free up some finances. We've been asked to keep our budget, our projected budget, in the same range that we've spent on average. And we have a couple of big number items coming up here in the next few years. The most notable changes that I think would be interest to the commission is that we've moved the Indy East parking lot paving project back to 28. One of the reasons for that is, like I previously said, there's a number of items that I feel that are important that we get in the next 2 years. Reminder that we borrow on a 2-year borrowing cycle. So whatever we put in for 26, we're also tied to for 27, for the 27 projects. Anything after that, we'll have some flexibility to move around. But as I said, we moved back the Indy East parking lot to ensure that we get some of the pieces of equipment that have been pushed back for other projects in previous years, notably the gym floor, the slide stairs, that kind of thing. The Willowbrook tennis courts are really in need of refinishing, and I wouldn't want to push that any further back either. I would also like to note the cost of the Rubicon River Trail project. Construction costs are estimated to be at $375,000. With engineering costs at $100,000 for this project. The engineering costs would also include application for a stewardship grant. I'd also want to note future considerations will include binding development. So that's the note I have on the second page there. And I also would like to add that we mistakenly omitted the VMAX sand play area, something that should be consideration for replacement, as we previously talked with commission on that. So just because those items aren't listed now doesn't mean they cannot be added. Another project that'll appear at the end of the 5-year plan that isn't in your document is the construction or addition of a park shop. As both DPW and the Parks Department grow, added space is needed. We have all this equipment. We try our best to not store anything outside. Expensive equipment at that, so we want to keep it in its own space. And as both departments are growing, as you know, we need space to do our projects as well. If you remember correctly, we had to borrow space from wastewater Dan Dentiste let us utilize some of his space so that we could start construction of the West Side Park dugouts. And we're going to be doing more of these projects as more is asked of our crew. So that's just kind of a summary. Please let me know any questions you have.
Any questions or comments for Randy? Ken?
Yes, I had a comment. I wanted to speak briefly just with regard to in an email today, our president and our chair, Todd Wozniak, couldn't be here, but he had made a comment about, and at the bottom of Randy's report, we talk about Biney Park, and the Biney development is on here. So that's on the southwest portion of the city. It's off of Pond Road, in an effort to be completely transparent. It's my home, overlooks this, and between us is a farm. So a couple thoughts with regard to that. The first one is, so the farm is owned by Joe Slosher. He lives there with his son. Joe's going to be getting married, remarried, and he would like to build his new home on that property, and he has no intentions of moving at this point, nor to sell his property. And he's currently been in some talks with the city about putting a home off of Fairview, but another option he has is kind of close to the corner where Biney Farms would be. And so, for him, he's not intending to move, and I can go through this, but we really, at the end of the day, don't have need for another park. And one of the things I can comment on my role as a county board supervisor is we've had a number of, as a county board supervisor, contentious issues that have come up. Samaritan Health Center and anti-crime plans and things like that. But interestingly enough, the one topic that I got the most amount of emails from my constituents here in the city, my constituents on the southern half of the city of Hartford, was about farmland preservation. And that people in our county and in our city, they are very pro farmland preservation. The county began a fund. There's a grant that matches it. And so the point of that is we want to try to be a good neighbor to our neighbors. It's one thing when someone will talk to me and they say, they hate to see a farm field get plowed into subdivision. Typically that happens because a property owner sells their property. They sell it to a developer and then they begin their process with with whatever municipality there is, and that gets developed out, and that's all on a voluntary basis. And while we hate to see those things, that's how it goes. This is kind of a different animal because we have somebody who doesn't want to leave their property, but they're sort of feeling that they're being forced into a position because the city wants to grow there. And so in an effort to be a good neighbor, I think we need to consider that. That we have somebody who's between there. When this came up, last year, and I want to, say I respect our chairman, Todd Wozniak, a lot. I love him. He's a sports guy. He's out umpiring tonight. And I think sometimes when we consider these things, we do it more with our hearts. We love sports. Scott Helms here is our athletic director at Hartford Union High School. That's awesome. I love sports too. But at the end of the day, I think we have to be pragmatic about these kinds of things, and we have to be realistic about those things. I also want to allude to the report that we had just last year from MSA that on page 21 sort of gave the overview of the acreage that we have and our current park system. And what it notes is that the city of Hartford currently has 27 acres of parkland per 1,000 residents. To give you some perspective, in the median in our state is 12.6 acres, and the upper quartile is 21. So we're at 27. We're 20% higher than the upper quartile currently. Another part of that report, they recommend a service level of 10.5 acres per 1,000 residents. And this is a standard that's promoted by the National Recreation and Park Association. If we use that level of 10.5 acres of parkland per 1,000 residents, the city currently has a total surplus currently of 250 acres. Assuming the population projections are accurate, The city does not add additional parkland. A total surplus of parkland will remain through 2040. So we are not short of park space right now or parkland right now. I wanted to also note that Randy brought up a number of other issues that are on here that we're facing, that there's likely to be some cost overruns on. There's already some pretty good size capital projects on here. The other one I would add to this is it's very likely in the next year that the State Supreme Court will overturn Act 10, and that's going to put significant cost pressures on county and on municipal governments already. It is actually going to leave a giant hole in a lot of budgets. So, with regard to the Bynum Park project, on no level, I can't even see this on a 15-year CIP, let alone a 5-year. And so I would be against that for a number of reasons that I've elicited here. And so I just wanted to share that with everybody. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Randy, I think I may be the only commissioner that was part of the development of Bynum Farm when we first came up with the structures that were being put out there and all the field placements. Do you think maybe next month that's something that we could share with the rest of the commission so they know what we're talking about?
Yes, absolutely. That can be added to the agenda. Reminder that July is traditionally our park tour meeting as well. So keep that in mind. I don't know that we physically need to see that area, but if that's a strong desire of any of the commissioners, we can certainly add that to our tour.
Sounds good. Anything else? All right, moving on to recreation programs and activities. Summer playground camp.
So currently, our numbers are actually pretty low compared to previous years for playgrounds. Our first session does start on Monday. With that, we only have 19 signed up as today. That is for our first session. For sessions 2 through 4, we are between 15 to 20 kids for those. And then for session 5, we kind of jump up to 26. So it's kind of an interesting year going into it, with how many kids we have and then staffing on top of that and how many staff we need for really only 19 kids. Luckily, I have some staff that are, willing to be flexible if needed. I have a supervisor who used to be a camp staff last year, and she's already doing great things with getting ready for it. The staff are, ready and willing to do everything that they need to do for the summer. So hopefully those numbers kind of go up past this first session. But that's kind of where we're at for playground. But we are ready for Monday and whatever that brings.
Hopefully sunny weather.
Yes.
All right, moving on to cops, rods, and reels.
That is coming up on June 25th. So we are once again hosting it at the Mill Pond. We are also hosting it with Slinger. So Slinger kind of does a lot with it. So we're looking forward to working with the new recreation supervisor that's there as well. We here have 6 enrolled. I expect that to go up. It usually does, especially once they start realizing that it'll be hopefully good weather. It usually does kind of go up once we get a little closer. Both Slinger and Hartford PD know that it's coming up and are excited to come out fishing with the kids.
Sounds like fun. Sips, snacks, and sounds.
So our second one of the season is coming up in about a week and a half on June 20th. We will once again have beverages by Brewed Omen. And then we will have Jake Warren as our performer that night. And then we hit a minor snag with our food truck, but we got over it. We did find someone for it. Our food truck had an unexpected cancellation reason, but it was out of their hands, out of our hands. We found someone else. We will have the Iron Pig food truck coming out, and so it'll be barbecue for the night. So kind of excited to have that. It does run from 6 to 8 that night, and then just another hopefully beautiful night coming up on June 20th.
Thanks. Adult youth sports, starting off with youth ball updates.
Speaking of beautiful, we have had a soggy start to our youth ball season. However, because our grounds crew is awesome, we have only had to cancel, I believe, only one night, and then one practice night right before that. So plus side is that it's still been going. It's just been a little bit of rough patches there. Tonight is our 5-6T first night. They did have their week canceled last week. But all of the fields are ready to go tonight, so that's great. This is our last week of first with 5-6T tonight. And then we have our picture night tomorrow. And then after that, the kids and the coaches can get into a rhythm a little bit easier.
And we're doing okay with umpires?
Yep, we are doing okay with umpires. They're a little younger, but we are doing okay with the umpires.
Tennis lessons, session 1.
So tennis lessons, we start this coming Monday as well. Just today, I found a second person that would be able to help out. I'm still looking for one more person to possibly help out, at least for the first class. But, you know, it's good news. I have someone there, so that's good. Level 1, we have 7 registered. So that's 3 remaining spots because we can go up to 10 for that. And then levels 2 and 3, we are actually full at 12 apiece. So we have really good numbers for our tennis lessons this coming Monday.
And all those take place at
Willowbrook Park.
youth and peewee basketball.
So these start this coming Saturday. 2 of my most consistent staff members are on it. We have 14 signed up for youth and 10 in peewee, and these are all at Recreation Center. So we do have spots to fill, but it's summer basketball, so it's a little smaller than our usual ones.
All right, moving on to aquatics, the summer schedule at VMAC.
Yeah, so just kind of a recap of our summer schedule that we have coming up here. The pool officially opened this past weekend on Saturday for open swim. And then for this current week, we are reduced hours from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock due to some of the schools in the area still finishing up, most notably Lincoln. We don't really want to be using the parking lots or the roads around there while school's still in session. So we start at 4 after the school is closed for the day and all the kids are cleared out. Starting June 9th, which is next Monday, we'll transition to our full summer schedule, including morning hours, which are lap swim, lazy river walking, toddler swim, and swim lessons. Night swims will be back this year. First one will be next Thursday, the 12th. And then also new this year, we will be having family night swims. We have 3 throughout the summer, 1 each month. The first one will be next Saturday, June 14th, and we'll be posting additional information on our Facebook and our website as well. And then looking ahead, the last day for our morning programs is August 22nd, and the final day the pool will be open this summer is August 29th.
All right, then moving on to swim lessons.
Session 1 begins next Monday with all the other morning programming, and that'll run Monday through Thursday for 2 weeks. And then once those 2 weeks are over, we'll have session 2, which begins June 23rd, following the same format and so on and so forth throughout the summer. Then we also have session A, which follows a little bit different schedule. It's only Tuesdays and Thursdays for 4 weeks. So that just gives another alternate option for families who can't make Monday through Thursday every week, gives them another way of getting their kids still in swim lessons. And then initial registration numbers are a little lower than usual, but normally they pick up as the summer progresses, gets a little warmer out.
And there will be more sessions, correct?
Correct.
So, okay.
Yep, these are just the first couple.
First, yep.
We have 5 Monday through Thursday sessions, 2 Tuesday, Thursday sessions, and then we'll be talking about the indoor pool, but we have 3 of those as well.
Awesome.
And then a maintenance update. Hopefully it's a good one. Randy, is that you or Brian taking over?
All right, so on the maintenance update, all painting has been completed.
Oh, we did.
And we did some areas, we noticed some areas, some staff did notice some areas that were not painted. On the slide, there were some areas that they missed a little bit. So they came back over the Memorial Day weekend and they finished it. we inspected it, all is good. So, on the day they came, it was raining for the final, and it was very hard to see if there were any inconsistencies, just to support both them and us for missing a little bit of a few spots. They were done within an hour and a half. That's how minuscule it was, but you could notice it. So all's been taken care of. So also along with this project, complete recaulking of the pool was done very extensively, including into the gutter returns. So that has not been done in many years, so this was all refreshened up as long as we were in there, and it had to be taken apart for all the painting. It was noticed that some of the caulking was deteriorating, so now's the time to do it. So we did go ahead and move forward with that project, did both the Lazy River and the main leisure pool is completely done. The pool was filled, and this was our moment that we've been waiting for. So every day I track water usage, even on the weekend I stop in, I take the water meter readings, and right now we're right where we need to be. We're right where we used to be about 4 years ago. So this has been an ongoing problem that has been adding up to, besides the fracture, I truly feel that some of the gutter returns were leaking also, because of the lack of caulk that was eroded away in them. So a lot of contributing factors to an issue that we've had. And everything seems to be just right where we need to be. So we're in a good place. Also on that note, we are still working on, staff, meaning we are doing it ourselves. We're recaulking all the joints in the pool slides. So really each day we can only do about 4, because it takes so much time to grind them out, recaulk them, and then it has to be cured for 6 hours. So you have to do the last one 6 hours before we open, because we don't want to close anything. And they really aren't leaking. It was just noticed before we get an inspection from past inspections at the indoor pool that we need to keep a good eye on the joints. So if anybody goes down with a ring, you could get your ring caught and pinch and cut yourself. That's really the only reasons. And boy, there's a lot of scrapes from rings, so that people wear them. So we're just being proactive because we know we're going to have an inspection, so we want it all done before they get here. So that's pretty much about where we are on the maintenance update for the pool. We're in a really good place right now.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Then swim lessons at the Hartford Family Aquatic Center, sponsored by the Lutz Family Foundation.
Yep, so we're currently in session 1. Session 2 will be starting on June 23rd. Those are held on Monday and Wednesday nights for 4 weeks per session. So again, another option for families who can't make the mornings or can't make every day of the week would be Monday and Wednesday nights at the indoor pool. Similar to the outdoor pool lessons, numbers are looking a little lower than normal, but hopefully we still have a couple weeks until then it picks up for this next session.
All right, then moving on to parks, our parks project report.
The park's very busy start up to the season. Rotary Park Pier is now put in. We had a couple adjustments to make on it as we would have expected. Nothing out of the ordinary. With being into the full summer season already, with the way the weather's been, mowing and trimming and rentals and event setups and takedowns and cleaning of everything, that it's just been very busy. And we're very lucky to be staffed with our seasonal help now, so that's really helping out staff, because there's so many other small things that add up into our everyday that we just take for granted, that get thrown on our plate that we have to deal with. So, Mother Nature hasn't been the kindest to us in trying to keep up with all the fields and things as such for the baseball diamonds. So it's just been very trying, because you have to do so much with such a short period of time before it dries out. West Side Park Gazebo and the Willowbrook Medium Shelter both had the roofs repainted by Hartford Pro Painters. We're still in the process of finishing up some loose ends on that, but everything else is pretty much moving forward and staying on schedule. I want to give them a little shout out. Randy mentioned that, hey, did you see what they were doing on the shelter? I'm like, oh, I didn't see anything. So I went over there, and they were pressure washing the entire building, which we were going to do this year with a pressure washer, and cleaned up all the stone. They did everything for us. Wasn't charged, they just did it. So that's a shout out to them. It was very nice that they did that.
Yeah, and that's who specifically, Brian? Who is it?
That's, I can't think of the exact name, but it's a local guy, Marco Gomez from Hartford, who owns the company.
Okay.
It was American Painting Contractors. That might be the name right now, but I'm not sure their new name for his company. He went out on his own and he started his own business, American Pro Painting.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So that's very nice.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
It's with regard to the pickleball courts. So the question is, when would those be, first be able to be used?
Okay, so that's next on the agenda.
I'm sorry.
Yes, that's just what I was about to announce.
Oh,
Ken.
sorry.
Our pickleball court report, please.
Okay, our pickleball
Well, that's on
report
that
is,
report.
so Mother Nature's kind of put a little dent in it, but I really truly feel that we're up to progress on where we need to be. Plablocky will be back next week to begin the painting on the courts, so that's the next step, because it was paved, it had to sit and cure, the concrete, or the asphalt had to cure out, the oils had to cure off of it before they could paint it. So now that's next on the list, so that has to get done, then that has to cure. Century Fence will hopefully be installing by the end of the month to get the fencing up. And then we're working on a plan for getting the courts going sooner than later if the people would park on Grant Street. So the true ribbon cutting is to be determined. Randy will release that once we really truly get a better spectrum of the time guideline that it's going to take to get everything up and acceptable for people to come and use, because that's when we want people to use it.
And then, go ahead, Ken, sorry.
No, Scott, go ahead.
The painting, how are we going to keep people off after they paint?
So
What's the plan there?
we'll put the orange fencing up, or the blue fencing that we use for
Yep.
4th of July.
Okay.
We'll put that up around it, keep them off of it.
Ken?
So will it be able to be used before the fencing goes around it, or does the fencing has to go around it and then it's going to be able to be used?
Yes, because they actually have to come in with equipment, and we don't want people using the courts while there's equipment coming in to set the posts. And then remember too, we have to landscape around it. So if anybody would come and use it, it's a huge liability to safety, because you have an edge that you could roll an ankle on, and we don't want people going over it, and then the kids are jumping over it with the bikes. So we just want to keep it secure until it's completely manicured and done and truly ready for use.
And what's your best guess as to when that might be?
I couldn't even,
Brian, okay.
if you don't have decent days of sunshine, I truly feel, I know that it takes 2 or 3 days for the paint to completely cure and set to where you wouldn't have to worry about it chipping if you did have somebody go on it. If that stays and weather stays, I mean, you're looking into July, quite frankly,
I think
but
that's what we had.
Randy will have a good release date once a lot of these things come into play and we know where we're at. I think the next hurdle to get over is if the fencing people stay on their time guideline and the painters truly come on the day that they're supposed to, which I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, why we can't maybe start manicuring a little bit on the edging too, where the posts wouldn't be for the fencing, just to help speed up. But it has to be a good day, it has to be enough staff, it has to be dry, it just has to all work out.
Yep. All right, thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
Any other reports or commissioner requests? Joe, I just want to say thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, this worked out pretty good.
Yeah. I know Todd mentioned in his email that he won't be available for July 2nd. I will not be available either. I'll be with my son in Alabama where he's playing baseball. Anybody else have conflicts for the 2nd, right before the holiday weekend? I'm available. Just to make sure we have enough.
Right now, no,
I'm available.
I don't.
Okay. All right, just wanted to make sure that we were good to go. All right, can I get a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Kate, second?
I'll second.
Chris. And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Did a lot.
Way to step it up. You're doing great.